And then my son, Caden, he's him and I'll be honest, we used to butt heads quite a bit when I was drinking. I mean, that's just the way it was. And we have a real close relationship now. He calls me for advice. He gave me the greatest gift I've ever had. Him and his girlfriend, Lily, gave me my first grandchild, little Scarlet Pearl, and she'll be 2 years old next month. And she'll never know a drunk poppy. I'm a poppy. So that's great. It's just the relationships are so much better.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Welcome. It's the AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour featuring the collected voices of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm Don, an alcoholic in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hey, Don. Hey, everybody. I'm Sam, an alcoholic in Palm Springs, California.
What do you say, Sam?
What's going on, Mr. Don? How are you?
I'm doing good. I've looking forward to going to a convention, and I recently went up to a roundup.
I love doing those kinds of things. And, if you do them enough, they wind up becoming like reunions.
They do. You go again and again. Like I'm looking forward to going to the assembly that's coming up.
Okay, so now, wait a minute. You said assembly, you said a convention, you said So we've got a question from a listener that says, I see flyers for all kinds of AA gatherings, conventions, assembly, roundup, workshop. What's the difference? What are you talking about here, Don?
Yeah. Well, I remember not being able to keep it straight. What is a assembly and what is a convention and why are they named this? So it's a good question. But yeah, I always think of it like the recovery is done in the regular AA meeting. And then we got AA business meetings, like in your home group. If you have a group that is organized, there will be the business meeting.
Also referred to as a group conscience by some groups.
And that's where the business is done. The same thing's true at the area level. There will be an assembly, and the whole area gets together to do the business of AA. And then at the national, international level, the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, U.S. and Canada.
That is the conference. So the conference and the assembly and the business meetings are the business of AA, and everything else is the recovery, the convention, a roundup, retreat.
And keep in mind, there are definitely recovery events out there that are not AA, but they're about recovery. And a lot of us go to things like that too. And some of those are called roundups and retreats and workshops. When in doubt, ask a question.
Yeah, there's one other aspect of it.
Are you thinking about the regional forums?
Now, that's put on by the General Service Office.
And there's 6 regional forums, if I'm correct.
6 or 8. Ooh.
Ooh, it's time for a service nerd to jump in and let us know.
I don't want my service sponsor to get me on this. We've talked about it. Those are put on by the office. I've heard them describe it as the dog and pony show, where the office comes out and puts on a big show. We did an episode not too long ago where I went to a regional forum.
And then we've got something really big coming up soon.
It's the International Convention.
Tens of thousands of alcoholics all in one place. Vancouver, British Columbia is not going to know what's happening.
July 4th weekend, yeah. That's put on by all of AA. That's put on by the General Service Conference and by the General Service Office. And then states will do a convention. Then there could be individuals who get together and do a regular convention or a roundup or something like that. So any of these things could be put on by different people.
And different entities within AA. Yeah. And I tell you, when you get into those YPA conventions, the young people in AA, they got conventions left and right. I mean, they're going on all the time. YPA does it.
Yep. Well, they're really worth going to these conferences and things because you get a whole different picture when you get a bunch of alcoholics all together. Imagine a really lively meeting and then multiply it by 100.
And, I loved hanging out with alcoholics when I was drinking. I love hanging out with alcoholics when I'm not drinking too, but preferably they're not drinking also.
Yeah, but they're the best people.
It's true.
Those alcoholics, they have this wild energy about them. Like you, Sam, you have this wild energy. Yeah.
You might call me a chaos gremlin from
You
time to
might
time,
call
right?
you a chaos monkey.
I am a chaos monkey.
Sam, who's our guest today?
Don, today's guest is Kevin W. from Plainfield, Indiana. And afterwards, we'll answer a question sent to the Ask It basket.
But first, the news. The General Service Conference approved the production of the Lavinia magazine in 1995. The Spanish-speaking community has been strengthened by the experience, strength, and hope that the magazine has provided both inside and outside the fellowship. The Pacific region of AA began celebrating the anniversary in 2011. Since then, it has rotated between the areas of the region every July. There, we emphasize the importance of increasing subscriptions, awareness, and sales of books, calendars, etc. that our beloved Grapevine Lavinia publishes. Southern California, Area 5 will host this year's event. The dates are July 25th through the 27th, 2025, at the Pacific Palms Resort in the City of Industry, California. More information can be found at aalaviniaregional05.org. That's aalaviniaregional05.org. The International Convention in Vancouver, British Columbia is coming up July 3rd through the 6th, 2025, and I'm here with Patrick C., the International Convention Coordinator, with an update on everything that's going to be happening.
Hey, Don, I'm still standing.
Good. I know you're under a little bit of the tiniest amount of pressure.
I'm looking at the countdown to the 2025 International Convention clock on our website. 56 days, 12 hours, 40 minutes, and 5 seconds at this moment.
And it's even less for those listening.
That's true. The 75th General Service Conference is finished and behind us, and so all the focus can now turn to putting this big celebration together, 90 years of AA.
Yeah, I mean, people may not know, but the whole office has to turn their attention to the General Service Conference that happened the first of the month. All your energy had to go to that, and now you can turn back towards the International Convention.
Yes. So I wanted to share about the Advanced Program Guide, which has now been officially distributed.
Now, wait a minute. What's Advanced Program Guide mean?
It's just a pre-program guide to the final version that'll be available on site at the convention or on the mobile app for the 2025 International Convention. Things like badges and when they'll be mailed, talks about on-site registration hours, our accessible transportation shuttle service, scooter rental, what's the weather like, information about anonymity at the convention and how to adhere to our anonymity tradition.
That's something to think about with, we are anonymous at the level of press, radio, and film, so sharing photos from the International Convention, we need to be thoughtful about that.
Very thoughtful. So we've kind of approached this from 2 points. We've put some great information in the advanced program about anonymity at the International Convention, where it kind of talks about what, who, when, where, what about social media, and there's some great tips. In addition, we're going to have an anonymity booth at the International Convention, so people can come up and ask questions. And
interesting.
Did you know we have over 25 hospitality suites that'll be up and running from various regions and areas and even countries? There's an Irish hospitality suite.
Oh, wow. So we get to travel the world.
Travel the world.
Booth by booth.
The other key part of the advanced program is a list of the sessions that are going to be taking place, the discussion panels and topic panels for both AA and Al-Anon, so people can get a first glance at things they might want to attend while they're at the event.
And so where can people find this? You mentioned the app. When will the International Convention app be available?
Yeah, so let me answer that question first. The app is planned to be available by the end of May. It's coming. And as far as the advanced program, it's available on our website at aa.org/international-convention.
All right. And what about people who are interested in the international convention but are not interested in traveling?
This is so exciting to me because we've really taken a big step forward for those members who are unable to attend the convention in person. So we have a virtual session program track. It's 2 days worth of 8 virtual program sessions. They're on Friday, July 4th and Saturday, July 5th. They start at 9 a.m. and end at 4:30 p.m. each day, Pacific Daylight Time. There's 4 sessions each day.
Mm-hmm.
It has things like online meetings. Are we hiding behind our screens? Unity, the most cherished quality. Living sober, or intensive work with other alcoholics. Those are a few of the topics that are going to be available in these sessions where people can register at aa.org/international-convention. It's $35 for the virtual program only.
Nice.
You can also purchase the International Convention 3 Big Meetings video product. It's going to be an anonymity protected video recording of the 3 big meetings in the stadium.
That's where everyone attends.
That's where everybody gets together. It's the flag ceremony. You'll be able to watch it. The speakers, you'll be able to see them in an anonymity protected way. This will be available after the convention is over. It's $60 for that product.
Wonderful.
So we're just trying to make everybody be a part of the 90th anniversary celebration of Alcoholics Anonymous in every way possible.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so much, Don, and I can't wait to see you soon.
I'll see you there.
All right, bye.
You can give a gift subscription of Grapevine or Lavinia.
Grapevine has a long waiting list of incarcerated members who want one. Get your group, district, area, or AA friends to join in.
It's easy. Go to aagrapevine.org and look for Carry the Message at the top of the site.
It's a great day to be sober. I'm an alcoholic named Kevin. My sober date is February 3rd, 2020. I'm from Plainfield, Indiana, and my home group is the One Paragraph at a Time on Monday nights, 7:30 at the St. Susanna Church here in Plainfield.
One paragraph at a time. What a fantastic name for a group. So, can I guess that maybe y'all go one paragraph at a time?
You are correct.
I love a slow big book study.
Yes.
So
Don and I used to be in the same home group in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's a slow big book study. And I used to travel internationally for work, and I would be gone sometimes 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks at a time. And I'd come back and maybe, just maybe, they had turned the page.
We talk about it until all the juice has been squeezed out. And then that's when we move to the next one. How do y'all do it?
Yeah, how do you do it, Kevin?
pretty much the same. Sometimes it's just one paragraph. You know, you'll get into a situation where you've talked about the same thing for 3 or 4 meetings in a row, and then somebody read 3 or 4 paragraphs, and then we kind of speed it along there. That's how it works.
So you got sober in 2020. Well, did you get sober before the pandemic?
Yes, just before the pandemic. My last drunk was watching Patrick Mahomes win his first Super Bowl. So that had been February 2nd, 2020, and February 3rd is my sober date.
You went to a live AA meeting?
Yes. I can't remember exactly which night it was because those first few days, first week or so, was kind of still fuzzy in my head, and I don't know if I'll ever get that straightened out.
Oh, yeah.
How did you decide to go to an AA meeting? What was going on inside of you?
Okay, well, I was sitting on the couch watching the football game, and don't think that I'm insane, but it's almost like I heard a voice. It was such a profound thought that I had to act on it, and that thought was, Kevin, this booze is getting just as bad as your other addictions were. You need to stop. The next day, I came home from work, called my son up, and told him that I'm ready. I got to stop because I was drinking quite a bit and I worked 12-hour shifts. So I don't know to this date whether he jogged down to my house or rode his bike, but he was about a mile away, and I still had a little bit left in my freezer. Took the bottle out of the freezer and poured it out together, and that was the end of that. And I've been sober ever since. And that was an emotional time. I think back on that time when we poured that bottle out.
Well, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was accountability, though. And I think accountability is what's kept me sober, because I tried time and time again and never got it down. But that was my first little thing of accountability, there with my son, telling him I'm going to stop, and pouring that out was something that I couldn't go back on.
How old was he?
17,
How old were you?
55.
What was the next thing that you did?
It was day 2 or 3, and we have a clinic at my work. I wasn't feeling well. I was getting sick. I told her, I said, hey, I'm an addict and an alcoholic. Don't ever give me anything that I could take to get a buzz on.
You were going cold turkey. How did you decide to go to an AA meeting? Had you heard of it before?
Well, yeah, I'd heard of it before. I'd actually tried it before and just never did the work. I just went in there and made myself feel better for a little while.
You knew it was a way to quit.
I knew that it has to work because I'd heard of it so much and had known other people that had stayed sober.
Did you know where an AA meeting was happening?
I knew about one that was here in Plainfield. And then after that, I got a schedule when I was at the one in Plainfield.
Yeah.
And then I was at another meeting that Thursday night. A guy came up to me after the meeting and he said, hey, what's your name? I said, Kevin. He goes, well, I know that. What's your last name? Then I made eye contact with him, and I knew him, but I couldn't know where I knew him from. Mm-hmm. His name's Chris. He had hung out with my sisters when I was little.
He knew you.
So then that was another thing of accountability, because he took my phone number and started picking me up for meetings.
Okay.
I've known Chris for a long time, and I know that if I'd have tried to bug out on a meeting, he probably would have came over and probably wouldn't have knocked. He'd have just came on in. It's because he cares. He's a good guy.
Good. I like that.
Did you find that going to meetings helped you with the craving for alcohol?
To me, I actually got a buzz off of going to meetings. You know what I mean? A spiritual high, something inside that was filling the void of what I thought I needed in my head.
Meetings do lift us up, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Can you describe that? How did you feel from a meeting that you weren't getting before?
I don't really know what it was. I think it was a God thing, because also that same Thursday night that when I ran into Chris, we was at a meeting that was going around the room. I took my hat off, and for the first time in my life, I said a prayer that wasn't a selfish prayer. I said, God, I want to be a better person. And I tell people about this. I felt something leave my body, because at that point in time, when I was at that meeting, I was still having that thought, well, there's a liquor store on the way home. I can get a pint, you know what I mean? And do a shot or two tonight to wean myself off. Well, I know how that would have ended.
Yeah.
But when that left my body, I felt this, something I never felt in my life. And it was so profound. I looked around the room to see if anybody's seen, something, because it was just something I've never experienced. And to me, that was God entering my life right then and there in that meeting, and let me know that it's going to be okay. Now, I'm not saying it went away 100%. I still had thoughts of it early on, but it was diminished so much that it was easy to handle.
Wow. I had a similar experience. Everybody doesn't get that.
Yeah, I feel blessed for that.
So this is in February of 2020.
Yeah.
Then comes March. So about a month later, we've got this big shutdown across the world. How did that affect you?
Well, luckily I had found a sponsor in those few weeks that I had gone to a meeting, Jimmy R. I went up to him when I was going to ask him to be my sponsor, and I never had anything like this happen either. I mean, the people in these rooms, they're the greatest people alive. I can trust every single one of them, no matter where I'm at when I walk in the room. But this man took my hand when I asked him, hey, will you be my sponsor? He said, of course I will. I love you, man. Look me dead in the eye. And it just almost made me start crying. Really, when I think about it now, it's still emotional, because I never really had anything like that.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. But the Zoom meetings, I know we're on one now, but I got a lot more out of being in person, with people. To me, a Zoom meeting don't have the heart and feel of a live meeting.
Yeah. It's a sufficient substitute.
Yes.
And if you can't get to a meeting, it's a godsend. I mean, it's just, they're wonderful. And a lot of people have strong recovery, and I helped and saw many people get sober on Zoom. But there is something in a face-to-face meeting, and it's before the meeting and after the meeting, that is indescribable connection that I feel.
I get that, and I'm more partial to in-person meetings as well, because that's where I got sober. But one of the things that I find so cool about the online option is that we do have people that really works for them. That's their thing.
It does.
Yeah, we've got all these different kinds of meetings, and we've got meetings that happen in church basements, and they happen in community centers, and they happen on platforms that are online. They happen over phones.
Mm-hmm.
Even ham radio. Never have
Letters.
participated in one of those. Letters. So there've been all these different ways that we as alcoholics have been able to get together and connect. And thank God we got them.
Yes.
Because some of them click for some of us in ways that they don't for others of us. So
yeah.
we've got all these options. It's fantastic.
So, Kevin, when did you start going back to face-to-face meetings?
More than a year, but not quite 2 years.
Okay, well, then that's the question. You are newly sober.
Right.
How are you not drinking?
I had the connection with people, talking to people on the phone. There's some of us got together, and once a week we were having a live meeting at a park outside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad those came along because I was dragging my feet on working the steps. A gentleman got up and started talking. His name is Mitch. And he was getting ready to have an operation, and it was not looking good for Mitch. And he was explaining how he was so happy that he found AA. He's going to go on this. Please pray for him. And he's still with us today, and that's a miracle in itself. But I was driving home from that meeting, and I thought to myself, how selfish can you be? This guy right here is, you know, facing something major in his life that he may not live through, and he's up there preaching to stay sober. How can I not work the steps after hearing this guy talk?
What was the obstacle in the steps that was keeping you from working the steps?
I've always been a procrastinator and just laziness, I guess, getting away with not doing it. And then after I heard that, I started doing it. I mean, there was really no good reason to not be doing the steps. It was just me not doing what I was supposed to do. And I can be honest about that now because I've been sober 5 years and I just worked the steps for the fourth time. So
For the fourth time.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe working the steps has gotten a little easier.
Yeah, it is. I'll never forget the first time the fourth and fifth step on my sponsor's back porch. And it's a true thing. You don't realize how much weight you're carrying around, you know, your whole life. You don't know what you're holding on to that you don't need to hold on to. And once you let go of that, I mean, I was so happy on the way home. I breaking the speed limit, cranked up the radio and started crying. And I didn't care. You know, it was just I was elated.
That's awesome. Real quick, those fourth and fifth steps. 4 made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And 5 admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs.
So you wouldn't be the first. I suspect that the procrastination had to do with not actually sitting down and starting to write out that personal inventory.
Yes, because I thought that nobody had been through what I'd been through, and nobody had done the stuff I had done. And that was even awkward when I was actually on the back porch with my sponsor, got to some real personal things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like thinking the meeting was going to be over. And he looked at me and goes, "You're not done yet." I go, "Well, what are you talking about, Jim?" And he goes, "You're holding something back." He goes, "Let me talk to you about mine."
Yeah.
And the freaking parallels between what he was talking about and what had happened to me and what I'd done and what I'd been through. And it made it so much easier. He just talked for like 2 minutes and I talked for like an hour. So that's the way that went down.
And that's how it works.
Yeah.
I think that this is that cool God stuff. So often the pairing of whoever's giving the fifth step and whoever's listening, it just kind of works out in a cosmic kind of way that this is the right people.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
It's happened to me listening to other people's fifth steps numerous times where we came to the most horrible thing for this person to share. and I'm able to say, I did that. You don't have to do that ever again. And you don't have to live that way. You don't have to be that person. And to be able to say that with the things that were the most shameful that I did personally, my own shame,
Yeah.
to be able to help another person through that and to be able to offer a path forward is healing for them. It's healing for me.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I remember when I first got sober and I would have something going on and call my sponsor, or I'd get that 30-day token or whatever. And I would always say, thank you. And he'd go, no, thank you. And I was like, well, I don't know what he's talking about. But now that I have sponsees and work the steps with them and I've given out several tokens, I get exactly what he's saying. It's like, if we want to keep it, we got to give it away. So,
And it's an experience not to be missed.
yeah.
What a gift. And the misdeeds and the actions and all of the things that were so shameful for me that I had to bury them under alcohol and wind up being useful in helping someone else let go of theirs. This is the only place I've heard about that kind of thing.
It works. It don't matter if it's my sponsee or not, just anybody in the room, especially a new person, when you can see it when they find their soul, and it feels so good, when they finally feel good about themselves, when their chin's not down, when their eyes are bright, when they're absorbing everything and sharing, and you first see them, they might be literally wilted up in a little shaky mess, and you just see this change, and it's just like, I feel like I should be paying for it monetarily, but I'm getting, more back than money's ever worth to myself. It's just an incredible thing. Sometimes I think the whole world needs to work the 12 steps. You don't have to be a
I am in agreement
Yes,
there.
indeed. Humans Anonymous.
We hear that in order to keep it, we've got to give it away. And some people might hear that as being like that this is a pain in the butt to do. Maybe occasionally it is. But on the whole, it's rewarding.
I love it when somebody comes up and asks me, hey, will you be my sponsor? And you get that first few phone calls from them, and then it's just, it unwinds from there, and it's a beautiful thing.
And it helps unwind me too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Go back to when me and my sponsor was working my fourth and fifth step, the stuff when he told me, you're not done yet. Guess what? I hadn't even wrote that on my paper. It wasn't even on my paper. I said, I'm keeping this one. An old timer told me when I was sharing that with him, he said, well, you're supposed to give it to your sponsor. I go, well, yeah, I know. He goes, you know why? He goes, that's so your sponsor can take it to his grave so you don't have to. That makes good sense.
Yeah. Kevin, you mentioned your son was who you turned to when you wanted to quit drinking. How does getting sober and staying sober today, how does this affect your family? What's going on there?
Oh, it's just so much different. I mean, I was always there physically, but I wasn't doing what I could do. And my kids, I mean, I have 22-year-old twins, Hannah and Caden. They're boy-girl twins. And I have a 17-year-old boy named Quincy. And it's just the relationship we have now. It's like, it makes you feel pretty good when it's a Friday night and your 22-year-old daughter or son calls you up and goes, hey, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Can I come over and watch TV? Back in the day, they'd have been running out of the house to go watch TV somewhere else. I mean, little simple things like that. And my son Quincy and I, we spend a lot of quality time together because, he's moved into my house now, which I never really thought that would happen, but I'm glad. We do a lot of go to hockey games. We're big hockey fans. Can I tell a little story about a God wink at my first NHL game I went to sober?
Yes. I love to hear about a God wink.
I've been going to hockey games since I was 12 or 13 years old. I'm a huge hockey nut. But once I turned about 18, I'd never been to a hockey game without being under the influence of something. So I got to be about a year sober, probably, year and a half. I wanted to go see my New York Islanders play live. I'd never seen that, and they was playing in Columbus, Ohio. So I talked to my sponsor about it, and I told him, straight up, I've never been to a hockey game without being messed up since I've been an adult. And I can't remember the page numbers. It's like page 101 to 103, somewhere in there. He told me to read that and call him back and tell me what I got out of it. Well, I read that literature and said, hey, I got out of it. I'm not taking the same person to the hockey game. Go ahead and go and have a good time.
Wow.
And he said, bingo. He said, you can go.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the hockey game, and I don't know if you guys have been in a modern stadium or not, but it used to just be warm tap beer. they got full-fledged bars, big horseshoe bars out in the middle of the mezzanine.
Yes.
I'm walking by that and I'm going, oh no, because I hadn't seen that yet, but I was good. We get down to our seats and we're sitting in like the second or third row. I can't remember exactly. And all of a sudden, because we're out of town, Islander fans, we heard these other guys yelling, hey, let's go Islanders. I turn around and there's these three dudes, probably in their early 20s. Two of them's got a beer and one of them's got, looked to be a vodka martini, Dirty Children straight up. The glass he was drinking out of the plastic glass, and that was my drink of choice. And I had that thought going through my head. Nobody will know. I can act like I'm going to the bathroom. I can have a couple drinks, And I'm just sitting there thinking, no, I'm not going to do it. And it went through my head a couple more times. And we were the first ones in the stadium. There weren't very many people in there yet. There was nothing over the PA. All of a sudden, you heard the PA crackle. And the song Learning to Fly came on by Tom Petty. And that is my recovery song. And Quincy was 12 at the time. And he elbowed me in the ribs and he goes, that's for you, Dad.
Yes.
No way that happened. And the thought was gone for the rest of the night.
Ooh, that's great.
Love that.
What you hear is your recovery song and you're having that thought. Because I don't know, I'm not sure, but a lot of people when they're earlier in recovery, even the first few years, you're going to have that thought every once in a while.
Yes.
Hey,
It can jump on you. It's very dangerous.
yes, it is. Especially when you're fist bumping somebody with a drink in their hand and, they're having a good time. Why can't I have a good time? Well, I could have a good time, but I have a better time without drinking. So that's the way I see it.
Well, Kevin, this has been great. Thanks so much for joining us today.
It's been wonderful getting to know you a bit.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
And now it's time for the Ask It Basket.
Hey, Don, we received this letter from Angelov M. in Houston, Texas, with an interesting question for the Ask It Basket. And I'm sorry if I did not get your name right, Angelov, but thank you so much for writing. They write, hello, during a recent study meeting, a question came up that I would like to clarify. Some members of AA mentioned while sharing that we were born predestined to be alcoholics. I would like to know if this idea is mentioned in any part of AA literature. I have a feeling I've read it somewhere, but I can't quite recall where. I greatly appreciate your help in clarifying this matter.
Angelov, thanks for writing. We sent this right to the General Service Office. Rainer L. on the GSO staff replied, the only use which comes to mind is printed within the AA Service Manual in a talk given by Bernard Smith, non-alcoholic General Service Board Chair. This talk, Why Do We Need a Conference?, is included on page 40 of the new 2024-26 edition of the Service Manual, and it says, we need it to ensure the recovery of a child being born tonight, destined for alcoholism. I would be quite surprised to find any other case of a similar message, given AA's tradition of refraining from opinion. If there is a similar case, it would likely be included within personal sharing, stories in the big book or pamphlets. These would be conference approved as portions of larger works, but they would represent personal opinion and not a statement by AA as a whole.
Thank you, Rainer. That was fantastic. I absolutely love that whole Why Do We Need a Conference written by Bernard Smith.
Powerful. We read the entire Why Do We Need a Conference at our district, District 23, to open every business meeting.
I highly recommend jumping on your favorite search engine and typing in Alcoholics Anonymous, Why Do We Need a Conference?
Or open up your super secret service manual and turn to page 40 in the new one, and it'll be there.
It's a good read.
Do you and your friends use the Grapevine app? It's a portal into the world of the Grapevine. The app is provided at no cost, but you get the most out of it by subscribing today.
App development is all about adding features and squashing bugs. If you haven't opened the app in a while or you uninstalled it, check it out again. Subscribing to the app supports everything we do.
We provide the podcast, the YouTube channel, our Instagram account, both the Grapevine magazine and Lavinia, and all the Grapevine books and literature. The app is free to download in your phone's app store and has great content and features provided at no cost to you.
If you want to help us reach out to other alcoholics, subscribe for $2.99 a month. You'll support all things Grapevine, including this podcast.
Sam,
Don?
well, I'm glad that you joined us.
Like, I was watching Doctor Who, and I got this text, and
I'm glad that you turned away from Doctor Who long enough to record an AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour.
well, you know.
I don't want to mess with that wibbly-wobbly, timey stuff.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. You were so close.
Bye, Sam.
Take care, Don.
I'm at the very wit's end. Cuckoo.
Defendant, you are accused by your landlord of being drunk and setting fire to the bed.
It's a lie, Judge. That bed was on fire when I got into it.
It's really not that funny. Thanks for joining us. The AA Grapevine Half-Hour Variety Hour is posted every Monday and is produced by AA Grapevine, Inc. We don't speak for AA as a whole. We share the experience, strength, and hope of members to help others recover from alcoholism. All things Grapevine are available at aagrapevine.org, including our app and how to get in touch with us. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to know more about AA, visit aa.org or search online for Alcoholics Anonymous and your city.